I'm going to speak about a campaign that I started last year. So last year, I decided to make a series of documentaries. Initially, the reason was I found that when I was working with my clients, friends, family, community, I always had to tell a similar story to kind of drive a point home to them, to explain something. And so I found that there were certain stories that I kept on repeating. And when I realized that, I said, you know what? Oh, I've just realized, sorry, I should probably get the ring light sorted because it's getting dark. That's what's going on. Sure. So I said, you know what? Let me make some documentaries. You get what I'm saying? Let me make some short videos. They were initially supposed to be a lot shorter, not as technical. I wanted to make some videos to tell some stories so that when it came up, literally, I would be like, oh, watch that and think about that. And these videos were multi-purpose for all different kind of people, whether they were coming from an immigration background, generational healing, trauma healing, sexual assault, toxic femininity, toxic masculinity, parents who were traumatized. There was just understanding. And although I've stopped at 8, I'm clearly going to continue because that was me laying the foundation for a wider conversation. You see what I'm saying? So halfway, the documentary does speak about violence. It speaks about domestic abuse in different aspects, whether it's children or in relationships, in addition to many other things, okay? And the documentary also speaks about something that I feel is very prevalent within Jamaican society, which is the abuse of women and children, okay? And sexual assault specifically. So halfway through the documentary, I had by this point mentioned various different situations and people and scenarios where these kind of occurrences were happening, right? And I had started a campaign on my own pages that I created and on my personal pages to highlight someone in Jamaica who I knew was, I'm trying to use my language properly because of the internet. What was it that I came up with? A serial assaulter of women, okay? I didn't know he was a serial assaulter of women. I knew he was an assaulter of women. So before I put the documentary out to share what I knew, bear in mind, this is why I've explained throughout the video what my background is, working in wellness, working in women's wellness, working in healing trauma, all of this stuff. So it wasn't just out of the blue. This is after 10 years of hardcore work in these lanes, okay? Before I put the documentary out, I started a campaign to ask people what did they know, okay? And I was simply asking, if you or anyone else that you know have been assaulted by this person, please come forward, right? Cool. During that period of time, many women, I can't tell the number off the top of my head, maybe 8 to 10 women came forward to say that they had indeed been assaulted by this man in Mandeville. Which shocked me because my initial documentary was just going to be a solo thing, but every time a woman came along, it changed the shape of the story I was going to tell. And I was also sharing some of the information online, trying to get more women to come forward. And I realized that I had literally uncovered a serial antagonist and assaulter of women who I had grew up with in Mandeville, in Jamaica. Okay? Right. While I was doing this campaign, I shared this information everywhere. Facebook, the WhatsApp status, Instagram. I even created 2 separate pages for this issue on Instagram. Okay? Candice, who actually you can see we're talking in the last video, she's talking and I'm talking back to her. She reaches out to me and she says, do you know of this lady called Afua Rose? So I said no, because at the time, I think I'd been here for about 6 months and I didn't know anything about Afua Rose. And she said, well, Afua Rose is a lady. She speaks about predatorial behavior against women in the UK, and she's been exposing a range of predators, serial assaulters, family assaulters, incest, the whole thing. She's been exposing it for a little while. And I was like, wow, I never heard about her. But the thing is, because I was going to do a documentary and I had so much information to share, I had one question that I really wanted answered. And I reached out to the biggest YouTuber that I knew at the time, someone with over 1 million followers, yeah. I reached out to her on Instagram to ask her to say, because I'd heard her speaking about her experience of an assault. So I reached out to say, I would like to do a video where I'm speaking about someone in that way, but I don't want the video to come down. How do I go about it? But obviously, she's a big celebrity. She didn't get back to me. So when I heard about Afua, I thought, great. I looked at her content. I said, okay, her videos are there. Clearly, I can ask her. So I reach out to her on Instagram and she calls me. We speak briefly. She explains what she does. I explain what my situation is. I tell her that I'm going to put a documentary out. I've been running this campaign. People are coming forward, but I haven't actually said what's really going to be said in the documentary. But I told her what was going on, the whole story. But I just let her know publicly. I haven't divulged the information yet. I've just said, I know this guy is this. Several women have come forward and said they've been assaulted and affected. I'm now going to create a body of work to present this information to the public, but I don't want my work to be taken down. Do you get what I'm saying? So how do I go about it? Because I see you have a platform that covers that sort of thing. And she said, yeah, that, you know what, there's no set rule. It's just the luck of the draw. Some get taken down, some don't. You just have to do it and see what happens. Just so you know, I've got a whole dress on. I just realized, hold on a minute. Yeah. So I said, okay, thank you so much. And that was to be the end of the conversation. And then she said to me, oh, but would you like to come onto my platform and speak about it? And I declined because I said, look, I'm going to share this in documentary form on my platform. I don't want to do lives. At this point, as you can see from the videos I've shared before, I've been doing lives for about 6-7 years. So I was on a stage for about the last 2-3 years. I slowed that down. I haven't been doing lives. I was over it. So I have a page. At the time, my Facebook page had like 8,000 followers, and all the other pages have like 2,000. So I'm already knowing that my audience is bigger than Afua's audience. And if I don't want to go live on my own platforms, why do I want to go live on somebody else's platform? Do you get what I'm saying? So I was like, no, I really want to tell the stories in the proper way. I don't want to just go live and talk about it. That's not where I'm at. I'm a creative. That's why me doing this live is important, because I'm not, I have to push myself to do any kind of live, but this kind of live, trust me, big push. The reason why I didn't do a documentary is this doesn't give me the energy that I need to get a documentary completed. It's just not of the caliber of a subject that can go into a documentary at this stage. Cool. So then she said, okay, she understands that. Why don't I come onto her platform and just simply speak about the fact that I'm putting out a documentary? Do you get what I'm saying? And that way, some of her viewers can come and watch my documentary. So that seemed agreeable enough to me, because I wasn't compromising my boundaries or standards. And so we announced that I was going to do a live with her. And so I went on her YouTube platform to do a live. And within the first 2 minutes of introducing me, Afua divulged to her audience the things that I said to her were not known to my audience and were not to be revealed until my documentary was out. So basically, what that was is that this documentary was going to be initially based on my own experience. The reason why I knew that that guy was an assaulter, because many, many, many years ago, he had assaulted me. But I hadn't divulged that to anyone. I just put a post out and asked if any other woman had been affected to come forward, and many did. And I told her, she knew all of this. And yeah, the first thing she did when she went on her platform was, it was about you. And I said, no, because immediately I'm like, what is she doing? Is she crazy? So I said, no, it's not about me. I haven't, and I literally pushed it back and refused to make her be who she's turned out to be, which is like, what do you call it? Clout chaser. She's someone who's looking for hits. People come and hit this video. She sensationalizes things in an area that is so delicate. It should be handled so delicately. The assault of men or women is something that should be handled at all time with a high level of decorum and grace. But within the 2 minutes of me being on her platform, she did that. And the truth is, I thought maybe she just didn't remember, because I gave her the benefit of the doubt. And that was my downfall, because what I should have done from that point is I should have never spoken to her again. I should have just kept things diplomatic. If I had literally clocked her and said, you did that intentionally, as opposed to it was a little slip up, she's an elder, sometimes they don't remember things. So that's what I was thinking, that's the benefit of the doubt. I would have never continued, because she showed me in that first moment exactly what kind of vulturous energy she was coming with. But it was me who decided to dress it in the grace that I have, not the grace that she has. So we did the interview. After I said, no, pull that back. I didn't say that. I had to even be fake on the live and say, I didn't say that. I said it was about, I haven't revealed any information, whatever. Did the interview, finished the interview, went on, started my series. I put my documentaries out. I put, I put like 4, and then I put the ones about the assaults out, and everything went exceedingly well. And more people came and gave more information. And now I've got one more documentary that's coming out this year. I'm only doing one documentary this year that I'm going to sit and do, which is the completion documentary to the Life After Death series, right? Cool. Everything went fine. Now I noticed that Afua, she invited me a few times whenever she was going live. She does a weekly live. She asked me to come on. Now, remember, as I said, I have a platform that's bigger than you. I'm not doing lives. I don't really want to come and do lives. So initially, just out of respect and to show some comradeship, sisterhood, I went and did some lives. But it's not really my essence. So after a while, she kept on asking me, can you come on this march? Can you come to this police station? And I explained to her, my activism isn't pounding pavement. Like, I try not to pound pavement as much as possible. My activism takes place in providing healing, wellness support for people. So regenerating, helping people to regenerate where things have come out of alignment. But it also takes place through my creativity, through my music, through my writing, through my documentaries. I don't really feel like I need to go and pound pavement. So I said, I can't do those kind of things. And I didn't know at the time, but this didn't sit well with her, because her character has revealed itself to be someone that's trying to just recruit. She doesn't see the value in each individual around her and have the ability to meet that person where they are and to work with them as best as works in that unique situation. She's literally trying to recruit foot soldiers, but any leader should know not everyone's a foot soldier. Sometimes someone could be an advisor. And I did, because I have a social media background, initially attempt to give her some advice about how she could professionalize her content, her videos, in addition to her social media pages. I said, even if you just post a post in the morning and say, good morning, everyone. I said, like, there's a way that you can have this campaign, but it doesn't have to be that once someone comes across your content, they're just feeling down, because that's all you're offering. You're not even offering continuous appreciation posts to keep the vibe up. And I explained a few things to her. I even said to her, you've got this slogan, his time is up. Why don't you launch a t-shirt campaign? I explained to her that my daughter and myself, we ran a t-shirt campaign in order to raise funds to publish our books. Okay. So I said, I've got lots of experience running t-shirt campaigns. Why don't we do a campaign? She said, no. We're going to do that in October because she has an annual march. She's had it twice now. She said she was going to do it towards the end of the year. This is June, right? Last year. I said, okay. The next time when I watched her live, she was advertising t-shirts. I was like, oh my God, I'm glad you took the idea. And I thought, that shows a lack of character, because I come to you with an idea. You say to me, no, I'm going to do that for my march. We'll wait until then. And then you run ahead and do it. And then the next week, you're advertising it. And I'm not supposed to see that. But still, because obviously I don't want nothing from anyone, I just carried on doing what I was doing. And every now and then we would talk on the phone. That's it. I hadn't met her in person. I'd done the interview where I spoke about my documentary, and I also came on a few of her lives to show some support. Okay? Cool. Saw she was having a march. I said, let me share the video. I even made her a video with some Fela Kuti music. And then they put out a video with Dotty Man by Romain Virgo. And I shared it on all my pages because I felt that's the way I'll contribute. I have a big audience. I might not come. My intention was never to go to the march. I was asked by a personal acquaintance, was I going? And I explained that I don't really resonate with marches, and oftentimes the energies of people at marches is totally against how I like to vibe. And it also attracts the most corrupt, power-hungry people, those kind of groups. So I had no intention of going. And then a few days before the march, Afua contacted me and asked me if I would sing, because someone had sang the year before. And since I was one of the ladies to come and talk about, I had a story to tell. Obviously, I never told my story on her platform. I never asked to go on her platform. I didn't want to go on her platform, nor did I need to go on her platform, because I've always had my own platform. But sometimes people, they're so self-involved, they don't take the time to look out. And I just, no matter what, I'll have this sisterhood. I thought, okay, there are all these women on the platform. I can go and sing a couple songs. That's not a big thing. Didn't really want to go, you know, but I'm like, oh God, it's like you've been called, you know. So I said, okay, all right then. Let the chips fall where they may. Next big mistake. The reason how I know it's a big mistake is because earlier in the year, and I have to say this because I'm addressing a major issue by speaking about Afua Rose, and what the issue is Afua Rose is my third. Is she 3? No, Bayush is 3. She's my 4th official troll. She's a super troll. She's a dangerous person, and she is the true catalyst for me creating this entire video. Not a mentee who, I must say, it pained me to have to go and dig up the video from 2020 with a mentee, because that's done. So I want to say that's even why this is taking so long. It made me very uncomfortable. I let sleeping dogs lie. I want everyone else to do the same. But when you're there stepping in my face and kicking me in my back, you can't tell me how to react. Aisha, same thing. She was a troll. I went to the police. They approached her. She stopped misbehaving. Let sleeping dogs lie. I've never mentioned Aisha again. I care not. Don't care. Doesn't exist to me. Truthfully. Bayush and myself. Oh, I'll come back to Bayush when I go into Afua. I didn't explain why Bayush lost her mind and became my other troll. Yeah? Afua, you did bad. You're a troll. Afua is a troll masquerading as a campaigner, an activist for women's rights and safety. And yet, the woman that she invites on her platform to talk about a documentary she's making is the same woman who she then turns around on to totally slander, degrade, and defame on a platform that supposedly has been created solely for exposing predators who assault women, men, and children. She's so off brand because the truth of her character, which is this thirst that she has, this hunger for power and recognition, is her true desire, not the justice of women. Because I can see, and everyone who follows her knows, I am not the first person. No. Now, if I was the first person, I'd have to check myself. She's done this on several occasions. She's done this as a grandmother. She's an elder who has failed to grow up. She is younger in her mind than a lot of women I know in their 30s, 20s, and 40s. Her conduct evinces her true level of maturity and her true integrity and character. Your conduct, the way you conduct yourself. As I said before, anyone can jump up with an airy fairy title. I am this, I'm a healer, I'm a channeler, I'm a defender of women. You can't be a defender of women and constantly attack women. You can't be a defender of women, create spaces for women that's supposed to be safe spaces, and then you yourself try to bring your whole audience to attack and vilify those same women. So what Afua did is that before this march happened, she had been, now check the mentals. The woman's 53. She got 4 to 5 children, at least 3 grandchildren. Her last child is about 11, 12, 13, and is still in school. This is what she did. She's had 2 significant relationships, the fathers of these children. And the last one, she's not happy with how his conduct is. He's not being a good father in her eyes. So for months, maybe even a year, I'm not sure, but at least for months, she reaches out to the father of her last child, pretending to be another woman. She pretends to have met him somewhere else in another country. Seriously, this is who we're talking about. And she builds up a rapport with him with the intention that at some point she's going to set him up, she's going to meet him, and she's going to film it and then put it on the internet and show everyone. When she first told me, because I know that everybody is different, and I understand that. That's not my style. Just so you know, that's not my style. That whole meeting people in public, shaming them up, putting the video on, letting it go viral, that's not my style. Okay? Right. So initially, I just still show compassion. I didn't go into judgment. Okay, I understand. Because I still understand, even though it's not my style. I can understand why mothers who aren't getting the right support from the fathers of their children with modern day technology may decide, you know what, I'm just going to blast you and put you on. I understand it. Still not my style. So initially, I'd spoken to her because I am a professional actress. And we discussed, well, you should probably get an actress so you can film it and have some cheerleaders. But then after I realized I'm a creative, yeah. So if you tell me anything, I can see all the curtains, the stage lights, But I realized, no, I can't do that. So I bowed out. So she continued because it was a plan that she had in motion for months anyway. And she met the man. She chased him in West London, chased him in a park. He was riding away. She was shouting, "You waste man! You," all of that, She was cussing off the man, and the man run away, and her security guard is running after her. She filmed it. She put it online. It went viral. Boy, all I know is, so just because something goes viral does not mean it's good. Because a lot of people did not like that, whether they expressed it or not. And it was like, wow, this is innovative. This is new. This is 2022. But boy, that couldn't be me. That kind of thing. That couldn't be me. And a lot of the women who past 20s, they weren't in conversations they weren't feeling that. Cool. So I realized that she's not stable. I spoke to her a few times and said, you're fighting this issue against women being assaulted, but your wound is actually what's happening with you and your child. And as much as you're pursuing that guy and doing that, you're not at peace, you're not at ease. So you need to focus on you and your daughter, because how do you think that made your daughter feel? This viral video of her mother running after her father, that even probably her school friends saw. What is this? There's some residue, whether she was in agreement or not. I said, you need peace. I said, one thing about being a warrior, and I've learned this through yoga, because the path of yoga can be the path of a warrior. That's one of the paths. And one thing about being a warrior is you have to have your peace. You will see this in martial arts videos as well. You can't just be out there fighting, and not have your center. For me, I can only fight when I have my center. Then I can fight. But this whole thing of fighting all the time, warring all the time, but you don't have your center. You don't even have a real reason why you're fighting. You're fighting out of some emotional reaction instead of coming from a place of wisdom and knowing this is a divine fight that should be, you will do damage to yourself and you'll do damage to other people around you. And this is what I saw happening with her. So much so, I don't know if it was before the march or after the march. I can't remember. But around the winter time, someone contacted me and said, Afua was online sending a message on a video that you need to reach out. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what on earth happened? Because we're not friends. I never met you. If I have met you, I've met you once at the march. So if you make a video and something's happened and you're saying, tell LENEA to reach out, I'm going to think, oh my gosh, it must be serious. So I went and I looked on her Instagram and she had left a video saying that she'd been arrested and the police had taken her phone and she needs AFROBELLI. That's the name of my platform. And the pussycat, the killer pussycat, who we're not going to mention because I know he's dying for some chat, and yeah, we don't entertain certain energies here beyond necessary, that we need to reach out. So I thought, my gosh, it must be an emergency. So me, like one idiot, now go message the woman and say, hi, I hope everything's okay. Are you safe? Here's my number. Reach out to me. That old 3 weeks passed. I didn't hear from Afua, and that's when I realized she is just a contortionist. She's just a hype queen. Why did she do that? If you don't need my number enough to take it and contact me, why, after you've been arrested, unless you're an informant, unless you're an informant, why are you going onto a social media platform and calling my name? You're not calling your family's name. You're not calling your best friend's name. You're not calling the people that's been supporting you for the past year. You're calling me that you just met a few months ago. And another red flag. So all that, I was like, no, I'm not going to the march. Okay. I spoke to her a few weeks after the arrest, and she explained to me that she didn't divulge on her platform. People thought that she was arrested because of the claims, because obviously she makes a lot of claims and she does get defamation suits and stuff like that. So people thought that she was arrested October, November, them time there, because of the defamation. But what had happened is, because she had run down the road and set up her daughter's father and harassed him and pretended to be someone else, he had taken her to court to get some type of restricting order, a few things, and she was really cut up about it. And when I spoke to her after the 3 weeks that she took to contact me after all the hype, when she could have just DM'd me, hype, fake, contortionist. When I phoned her, I could tell she was quite sad and she cried on the phone. And I said to her, Afua, I told you, you need the healing. You need healing. Now, you don't have to take no healing that I'm offering or that anyone I know, but you said that because I forgot to mention that she is a convicted criminal. And I didn't know this when I first went on her platform. I had no idea because I'd never heard about her. So I just thought that she was She said she's a psychologist. Okay, so to me that's healing work. So I thought she's a psychologist. It's like corporate mental health healing work, and she's now a defender of women's rights. But nowhere in the middle did she tell me that she had done time in prison for being a mule. You know what a mule is, right? Mm-hmm. See, never said so many things, never said that. So she told me that after she had gone through her prison sentence, she went to the church and joined a school that you would study for a while, then you could get baptized, because she felt like, you know, she wanted to take off some bad energy and get right and stuff. So I said to her, remember you were baptized in this church that you believe in, right? Why don't you go and develop your faith? You need to do what works for you, because I believe in that. We're not all here to do the same thing. What kind of boring world is that? So whatever your thing is, whether you're spiritual, you might even be atheist, doesn't matter what it is. Everyone's got a thing that they know that will regenerate their being, that will bring them into wellness. That's, you understand? So I'm like, clearly you've gone and baptized, so your thing is the church. Ooh, why don't you go and deepen your faith, work on your spirituality, because you need healing, because you run down the man. Now the video went viral. Now the man's taking you to court. Now you want to go and say, so she wanted to go and say that she wanted to bring up dirt, basically, I can't bother with all that stuff, from the past and bring new lawsuits for stuff that happened years ago. And I was saying, please, like, don't do it. And I had said that to her before. Don't do it, please, don't do it. Just hold out, don't do it. Do you understand? Then she had another charge pressed on her by this man. And then she told me that that's when she decided that she was going to become an informant. And her daughter's father and the family, of which there's a celebrity in the family, a UK hip hop grime type of celebrity, she told the police all of their secrets. And that's when I realized this woman is dread. And on top of that, when I said to her, why don't you go and explore your faith? You said that you baptized because you wanted that blessing, etc. She told me she don't really believe in the church. She just did it to get some clearing. Now, when I told my friend this story, after Afua started her trolling campaign, her crazy, obsessive trolling campaign against me, my friend said that means that Afua admitted to you that she is a demon, because she's saying that she went and she lied to the priest, to the people in that church. She pretended that that was her faith system just so she could get some type of spiritual healing, but she had no intention. She made commitments to those deities, to that belief system, when she knew she was faking out the whole system. So if she's going to fake out that God in her eyes, who are you? I said, Jesus and peace. When my friend said that to me, I said, oh my God, raw, like that's so true. So her whole platform is a fake out, because she fakes out the where it matters in the divine. She's fake to the divine, much less out in person. Let's talk about the march. I go to the march. I wear all white. I usually wear all white. I don't always. Look, you like it. I don't always wear white. I recently started to buy some new colors. I've got blues, beiges, yellows, pinks. I got a mix. I wore pink the other day. I got all different colors. But my base is white. Don't need to explain that. Why do I need to explain that? It's life. It's many reasons why I wear white. It's my choice. It's my prerogative. Didn't realize it was such a big thing until this campaign started against me. And I was slated for wearing full white to a march where everyone was wearing red and black. How petty is that? Toxic femininity. You invite me to come to your march. It's not a booked gig. You can't even afford me. You can't afford me. I decide to come and to support your march after promoting it online for you for free, after supporting you and doing this and doing that, okay? Giving you all this advice, how to develop your brand. But that Jamaican Caribbean crab in a barrel, toxic femininity couldn't be sated. It wanted more. Give me more. She explained to me prior to the event, the theme was red and black. I explained to her, I don't own any red and any black, and I can't wear those colors. So is it okay if I wear white? Because that's what I've got. I'm not buying clothes for your event. Like, and I'm not wearing red and black because you want me to wear it, because I don't wear red and black. And I didn't realize that we live in a society where people think that, you know, you can tell a grown woman, you know, what colors to wear or not wear. And I had no idea it was an issue because she didn't say anything. But she started this troll storm, which we're going to get to, and she put out some dangerous content about me, of which I may add, because I love myself, I didn't watch it. I haven't watched any of the slandering content, but some loved ones just came and told me a few things before I said, that's enough. Before I said, okay, that's it. I didn't watch the video for a reason. That's it. Or when they come in to tell me what's being said on the Instagram thread, I'd be like, okay, that's it. Thanks. And that's how I got to know that a woman like myself, who has evinced her value to her community for over a decade, for over 15 years, through one, raising an astonishingly polite, courteous, respectful, and a child that contributes great value to this planet. In addition to that, in addition to just being a mum and just being a good lady, I have contributed through music, through theatre, through literature, through poetry, through yoga, through tarot, through astrology. What else? So I was shocked that someone like myself, who has actually done the work, got the stripes, and they can never be taken away, okay, could be spoken of by this lady who's a convicted mule, right? And she's proud of it. She's proud that she, as a grandmother, and she said she's some type of freedom fighter. The morals are way out for me. They don't align with mine, and that's fine, because we're not all here to mirror each other. But the work that she has done is not substantial. Yes, she does highlight and expose. But what it seems like is she's calling out a lot of men's names, saying that they're this and they're that. But she has no evidence. And I know that because of my own experience with her, because when I told her what happened to me, she didn't do any investigation. She just listened to what I said, yes, I believe you. Do you want to come and tell your story on my platform? I said, no, I can't do that. Do you see what I mean? So she is the judge and the jury. And since she has done these videos, many people have become very disgruntled with her, because they've realized if you're going to do 500 videos or even 250, and they're all exposing and defaming alleged, may I add, abuses of women and men and children. And these people that you're exposing are all linked to families who have children, who have to go to school. If you're not going to start to get some sentences like 10, like 20, then your work, you're just a vlogger that's chatting. If that's why I keep mentioning this is what I've done, because it's already been done. And I know that people, when you achieve, they would love, with the crab in a barrel mentality, as Afua, the perfect crab. She's born on July the 4th. In the Western astrology, she is a Cancer. She comes under crab season. So it's the perfect symbol that she represents. Instead of being the Cancerian woman that's connecting with women, connecting with emotional intelligence and empathy, so they can guide and assist people in growing, she's a crab in a barrel, not only pulling people down, but when I went to school in Jamaica, they used to say, empty barrels make the most noise. And she's the crab in the barrel that enough people jump out of that barrel a long time, and she's in the barrel making a whole bag of noise. And the reason why she cannot come out of the barrel, because there are many people that could pull her out, is because she doesn't listen. Because the whole time that I communicated with her, I realized, as an elder, I just gave her that grace. Another thing is, she has the same birthday as my mom. I know the energy. I came through the energy. I was raised by that energy. I ran away from that energy because it was toxic femininity. I ran away at 15 from my own maternal home because of that energy. And then later in my life, here comes another betrayer of women, another treacherous feminine, another woman who simply needs to heal. I don't think there's anything intrinsically wrong with Afua, even though her conduct may speak otherwise. What I do know is that when women hit 38 to 42, there's a window and they need to use it. And from then on, they need to be using that window. And what that window usually is for women is that they need to spiritualize their life. They need to bring something. Doesn't have to be religious, you know. They need to spiritualize their life. They need to process their life. They need to purge. They need to go through the healing. They need to allow the divine to bring lessons and breakthroughs that only come to women who hit certain ages. If they don't do that, they go through a defragmentation. They're unable to heal from the trauma they've already experienced. So instead of regenerating and healing and putting a balm on what is there, there is an atrophy, a breaking down, a corruption, a degradation of one's mind and spirit. And one of the things that I've noticed on my journey as a practitioner, as a professional, I've met three women who are of Caribbean background, who are psychologists. They are all significantly older than me, 10 years, 20 years, 25 years. The three women that I know that come from a psychology background, all different types of psychology professionals, they have massive detriment to their being. Something has happened that shows that the psychology that they learned missed something. It didn't cover all the bases with them as a being. So they've learned this psychology and they've spent their lives allegedly helping other people with a tool. But the tool, the system of study, the doctrine of psychology that they've learned doesn't address a certain aspect of these women. Do you understand what I'm saying? Doesn't touch it. And so they cannot use the same psychology to nurture themselves and make the right decisions and to conduct themselves properly when they reach to middle age, you know, womanhood, that second womanhood. You do have a second womanhood, but you have to nourish that garden, nourish yourself in order to make it through. Because if you don't, all the stuff from the previous years is just there degrading your being. And unfortunately, because Afua hasn't taken responsibility for her healing, because she has allowed her anger to eclipse her purpose, it's okay to be angry. Like I always say, V, who's an Akashic record reader, told me years ago, you must use your anger to take care of yourself. First and foremost. She said, if you get angry, LENEA, what do? You know? I said, I usually go focus on my work. She goes, does your work take care of you? I said, yeah, well, it pays my bills. She goes, is that all? And then she said, rage is sacred. Every emotion is sacred when you channel it in the right direction, when it presents itself. When we have women's movements that are about the rights of women, and we're fighting patriarchy and we're fighting toxic femininity, we have to always seek to expose ourselves to as much healing as possible, because we can't be out on the battlefield all the time and not become corrupt. And I said this, which brings me to the next point. I said this in March when I went live to speak about I Love My Womb. For those who may not know, if you're just new here, I Love My Womb is an all-female women's movement that I've been doing for coming up to 10 years. Thank you. We do yoga, meditation, visualization, a conversation between heart and womb. And it's just a healing journey, okay? So this is the kind of thing and practices like that and lots of different things, whatever's in resonance. Some people need to go for a walk to heal. Do you get what I'm saying? Healing is not one size fits all. Some people need to go for a walk. Some people need to go to the park and just look up at the sky. Some people need to go buy some water. Some people need to go and do some painting. It depends who you are, right? So as I Love My Room was coming up this year, I came online and I said this same thing. If you're doing activism work, you have to take the time to heal. We are women. We can't, no one, man or woman, is made to be out on the battle line all the time. It will corrupt your system. You will become traumatized. Do you understand? So I said that. So I'd like to stick a pin, okay? And at this stage, I'd like to, I'm trying to think, should I play a song? Because I'm about to wrap this up and I have to, do I go straight into it? Let me see, let me check the time. Right, I'll say this bit and then I'll go on. At the march, I met an artist called The Pussycat. He approached, that's not his real name, that's what I'm calling him. He approached me and I realized I had seen him on Afua's live before. He's an attractive guy, but I was quite surprised, and so was my friend, because his energy was so big on the live. But when I met him in person, he was shorter than me, and I am 5'4". Okay, right? 5'5". I think I'm 5'5". So he was like about 5'3", and it really threw me. And I'm not being heightist or biased towards short guys. I just, you know, when you see someone in the video, you see them in person, I was like, oh, this dude is proper short. So he was like, oh, because I had performed at the event. Now, I have to mention, no, this is why I feel like I need to break, because I'm going to take a break. And when I come back, I'm just going to finish this video by explaining what happened at Afua's march, what happened following the march, and how that led to a very unjustified, toxic, crab in a barrel attack or attempted attack from Afua towards me that only served a simple purpose to highlight some people who were naive enough to be gaslighted by my troll, Bayush. And so Afua, seeker the crafter from my art therapy, I'll save her for the end. Sarjo's Holistics, Sarjo, Ewuna Carroll, Michelle Lewis, who is literally like bed frame, post, mattress, pillow, and duvet of Brent. They allowed a girl in their 20s to gaslight them. Oh, and Aisha, because that's the only reason I mentioned Aisha, because Aisha forgot that it was the police that made her behave herself when she was trolling my page. And she also forgot that I can go to the police at any time and fulfill that charge that I made because of the nature of it. And I've allowed her to run out so I can use this for this day on the 7th of the 7th to address this issue. Now, this video is long, but I will be making episodes out of it. So there'll be shorter bite sizes coming out, because this Please Don't Call Me Sis is the intro to my new music that's coming out. I've got 2 new songs coming out and I love them. And I didn't know, when I was pulling my music up through my archives and showing you guys the stuff from the past. I even showed you guys a sitcom that I did, all this stuff. I didn't know that these crabs were dying so much to be highlighted on my platform that they would put me in a situation where, for my future descendants and out of respect for my child, I'm going to come once and for all. And like I've said in every video that I've played so far, I'm going to nip it in the bud. You see, if you watch this video, you'll see at the beginning that in 2020, I came live on my Facebook page and I said, it is 2020, I'm going to nip it in the bud. But I also said, I know this is going to happen again. And now I'm here 3 years later. I don't have one more example of how it happened again, not 2, not 3, not 4, but all 7 examples of how these degenerate feminines who refuse to heal and to take responsibility for the gifts that the divine gave to them, who refuse to go and work on their gifts, how they turn on people, as Bevy Boo said on my page, who have the bravery to go ahead and do the work. I am not more confident than anybody else. The reason why I feel I've been able to do so many things is because I have always been a single parent. Since my daughter was I've always been a single parent. And as my friend explained to me yesterday, a lone parent. She said a single parent is like you're not with the partner, but you're co-parenting, right? But a lone parent is where there's no co-parenting. I've always been a single parent and a co-parent to my daughter. And for that reason, I've had to do everything to stay above, to stay afloat. Haven't always made it. It hasn't always been easy. But that's been the fuel. Not to have my ego stroked, clearly, because if that was the case, there's so many ways more I can share. You just don't even understand. I've become so introvert over the years. It's foul. I'm good. So the work that I'm doing is not to get validation. It's not for you to stroke my ego. It has been to sustain my home and my family. So the ongoing assault against my work and reputation from a woman who has grandchildren shows how immoral she is. Because I thought to myself on several occasions, when Afua decided to do this disgusting ghetto gyal campaign, like some little gyal where I sell around a back road, the way she communicate, the things she's saying, the way she's talking, you just coming like you're born around back road. And for those from Jamaica, you know what that means. I'm thinking, but you've got a 12-year-old daughter. You've got daughters in their 30s and 20s. Are you meaning to tell me that at no stage before, during, and after you were doing this, you didn't reflect on your womanhood? Your womanhood and say, firstly, you aren't going to believe what I want to tell you because I didn't do anything to Afua. So that's why I guess this is the weirdest thing, because with everyone else, there's something that led to it. But with Afua, not really. She's a clout chaser. She ran out of things to talk about on her platform. I said something on my platform. It was not about her. Anyone can go and see it. It's on my AFROBELLI YouTube. I'll make it public on the LENEA one again. I said something on my YouTube. I didn't mention her name. It wasn't a shade. I called one person's name. It was not about her. I said nothing negative. And Afua became afraid. She became afraid that, oh, if LENEA is saying this, is she going to speak about that? And I never was. I had no intention. I still haven't to this day. And because she was afraid, she wanted to get ahead of any potential damage to her clearly fragile and underdeveloped ego, her ill-defined ego. And so her psyche as a grandmother of 53, married, already divorced, another child, not with the child, you're a big woman. Her psyche was, let me be that toxic, feminine, canine female. Let me demonstrate to the world the caliber, the ilk of woman that I am. And that's what you did, Afua. And it was great. Because no one didn't have to tell anyone anything about Afua because of how she conducts herself. Imagine, I sat down in my house one day and someone called me and said, have you watched Afua's live? I said, I stopped watching that long time. This must have been about January. I can't watch those things because I do a lot of intense work, whatever I'm creating. I find that when I want to take a break, if I want to watch media, it has to be intense, like a good high budget psychological Netflix, good high budget, or it can be very fluffy, something that's like, this is almost bordering on foolishness. But what it can't be, or documentaries, I love documentaries, but what it can't be is every time I come to your channel, it's a downer, you've got no solutions, and you're speaking like you've got no education. You're saying that you're a psychologist. I never even mentioned here where I studied yet, because it's not important, but I have studied. You're saying that you're a psychologist, but you're speaking in a way that my child never speaks like that. And she, I think, urban slang, she would have more of a reason to be speaking, but she doesn't. My daughter doesn't speak like that. All this kind of verbiage like demand them, and like you're a child, like you're a young girl. You're evincing who you are. You have a platform. When I don't have much to offer or say, I don't have much to offer or say. What I'm not going to do is just sit on my platform and basically attack people because the reason why I set up my platform has now changed. Now, if you set up a platform that's to expose predators, that's what your platform is about. So the sister contacted me, have you watched Afua's latest video? I said, no. She said, please watch. I goes, why? I don't want to bring my energy down. Seriously, mm-mm. She said, Afua is really cussing out this lady. It's really bad. So I checked it, and she was like cursing this lady and saying that the lady came for her for help, for counseling, but the lady's too sick. And I cried. I remember watching the video, I cried, and I thought, how could she be talking to someone who came to her for help? And she's a psychologist, you know. She's not a yoga teacher. She's a psychologist. That's how you teach. That's how you speak to a client that you decide that you can't work with. You go online to your platform of thousands of people and you curse them to the ground. And I cried and I said, this is bad. The next time, and this is the last time, and this is what led to me and Afua. Like, she can't call back my phone. Same lady. It's happened a few times. I've seen Afua say some really dirty things that I can't believe a grown woman would tell another woman to do things. Like, I'm not going to repeat it. If I wanted to, I could have done a screenshot and shared it with you guys. But that kind of filth can never come on my channel. I do not run a reality TV show. And yes, now and then we can have a little swear word, but we're not dirty out here. We're not ratchet. Not just straight up ratchet, ghetto. I don't want to say ghetto, you know why? Because I have family from the ghetto and I've never heard them speak in the way how I've heard Afua speak on her platform. So it's a disrespect even to ghetto people. That's why I can't even find the word. Let's just say subhuman. Subhuman. When the Most High, nature, the divine, the universe, whatever it is, your life, gives you 53 years, you need to work on yourself so you can be, at least, if you can't be an example to others, you can be upright for yourself. So there was a video where Pussycat, the rapper, the same rapper who I'm going to discuss in a minute, he had been accused of being an assaulter of women and of children, I think. And Afua was using her platform to defend him. And I felt that fundamentally something was wrong with that. And I've seen her do it before. I felt like if you set up a platform to highlight the injustice of women being assaulted, you're going to attract a lot of women who've been assaulted. And the kind of platform she has, most of the women, they're not even being encouraged to heal. It's just an angry thing. So you're trauma bonding with your audience, basically. But you have a niche, and the niche is, this is to avenge women. So you can't then bring onto that same niche platform men who have been accused. You can bring on men who've been assaulted, but I don't think it's the right, professionally, because I'm a professional, right? It's not a vigilante thing. That would have to take place on a separate platform because it's like it's going against your brand. And it's also sending mixed messages. And you're triggering because you don't care about your audience. You're not caring about your audience who don't care about those guys. Basically, no, you don't. And part of the reason why she lacks the empathy is because of her mental imbalance. Because she said to me a few times in conversation, well, she's so glad she's never experienced assault before. And I thought, what a highly insensitive thing to say to someone who has experienced sexual assault, who you met because you have a platform that supports women who experience sexual assault. Like, who are you? What a narcissistic thing. You're fake. How could you, where in your psychology training did you think that saying something like that was acceptable? But the flip side of it is to show the psychosis, it's not even true. Because the last time Afua said that to me, well, at least I haven't experienced that. I said, but Afua, you sat on the phone with me and you told me, I'm sure you've already told your audience, how this man, whether it was an uncle, some old man, some neighbor, used to come to the house and fill you up, even when your father was in the house. He used to run you around. She told me that she was assaulted. What happened was she wasn't penetrated, but she was groomed and assaulted as a little girl, and that never happened to me. So I'm thinking, you're looking down your nose at women who've experienced assault when you were actually groomed and assaulted. You were assaulted as a child, but you don't remember that you said that, and you're running this platform. You need the same psychologist that you say you are. You need assistance. And if you try to hide it, that's fine, because it can't hide, because now it's just all come out. And people who have sense, of which there are many in the UK and all over the world, they have sense. They can look and see something is way off here. Not just a little bit off, not this is a bad day. There's a corruption here. Before I explain what caused Afua to run scared into a stupid clout chasing spin propaganda campaign against me, I'm going to explain what's wrong with her so she can go fix it. She experienced assault as a young child. She has an issue with her mom because she has the same toxic femininity issue. She speaks about it on her platform. I'm not chatting her business. This is part of her narrative. Her mom cheated on her father consistently, so she sees her father as having integrity. She sees women as not having integrity. She says on her own platforms that are there to support and defend women that she doesn't like women as friends. Whenever women say that to me, I don't want them around me personally. Now, I understand if you say you don't have a lot of female friends, you got like one or two, that's fine. No one needs more. But when you categorically as a woman say you don't like females and you don't want any female friends, something means that means you definitely don't want me as a friend, because I'm female. And I've always had male and female friends, maybe two of each, and I'm good. You get what I'm saying? So it's the hypocrisy, it's the contradiction, it's the conflict in the energy, the two separate polarities. You've been assaulted, you're saying, you're looking down at the people who have. You're running a platform, you're looking down at the people who have. You're saying you haven't when that's come out of your mouth. You're supposed to be pro-woman, you don't have female friends. You got like 3-4 daughters, you don't like women. I told her I was spending some time with my daughter. I could never do that. Me and my daughter, she was acting so disgusted, so snooty. I'm thinking, you're lost because you don't know I'm so blessed to spend time with my daughter. It is not a burden. It is not a curse. It is a gift. It is not a given. That's why it's a gift. And even the way how she spoke about she couldn't live more than 2 days with her daughter, I was just like, your energy is off. So this is part of her issue. And on a deeper psyche level, she came in with a hunger for power. She used to be an artist. If you look on her profile, it says she's an actor, she's a singer. You can't say you're those things if you can't evidence it. Where is the acting? Where is the link? Where is it? Where is your music? She's talking about things that she did like 25 years ago. But she doesn't feel complete with her identity. She wants to be more. But the more she wants to be is something she has to feed into herself. But she wants other people. She wants to be a hero. She says she used to do Black activism. So she wants to be someone who's known for shouting and making up a noise. And that's fine if you are impacting positive change. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But she's reached a stage in her life, some of the things that what she thought would sate her didn't sate her. So she was married to, from what she says, a massive successful man, very successful, very proficient, intelligent, everything. She did say he was a narcissist, which is likely because she's very much on the spectrum of that. But She said he did everything. He was a responsible father to all the children. Homes were purchased. Businesses were provided. They did great work together. So the reason why they divorced was because he kept on cheating on her. And I remember thinking, what, as a big woman, you divorce your husband because of that? But that's because I'm from Jamaica. And I'm thinking, well, after a certain age, you did that. Okay, cool. Whatever. So she divorced her husband after living quite a stable life, never experiencing a waste man, never experiencing the rougher side of life. And then after that, she felt disillusioned with love and with life. And so I think obviously she went through the whole thing of being convicted and doing time in prison. And she said when she came out, she fancied a bit of rough. Did you hear that? Big woman are telling me now. So she went out with who she says is a waste man. I don't know him. I'm not going to call that man a waste man. I don't know his family. Total disrespect. Yeah. Remember, I'm an artist. I could sit down and chat people for days. I don't have no song, yeah, about, listen. Anyway, let's just stop it. She said she fancied a bit of rough. She ended up with a man who had also recently come out of prison. She infamously calls the father of the last child a jailbird. So she's gone from having like a pioneering, innovative community leader to a South London Brixton Road man who is more of a sellout. That's what she's saying. So the power that she was able to access through her first partnership isn't available. And then coincidentally, simultaneously, at the same time, her vision is now focused on South London, the same place where the father of the child comes from. And she spends a year and a half building up a platform primarily exposing men who assault women from South London, men who know the father of her child, men who were raised. London is not just South London. She isn't even from South London. She's from somewhere else. London is a big place. It's got 4 main north, south, east, and west. But England is a massive place. And wherever there are Caribbean communities, you will find this predatory behavior that she says she's dealing with taking place. But the obsession is showing itself in the track record. So in the track record, she now focuses on the men in the community where her daughter's father's from. She spends a year and a half building up her platform, building up her status, being a big mouth exposer, not an articulate one. She doesn't create one piece of content. She only goes live. Do you understand? So she's an actress, she's a poet, she's a singer, she's an activist, but she doesn't create one piece of content to show where her intellect is. No, she only goes live and talks and talks and talks, and so that's what she does. Until one day she uses the platform that was set up to expose said predators to make a video of her running after the child's father go viral. That's Afua's issue. You need to heal. Heal from the disappointment. You are powerful. I don't need social media to think that I'm powerful. It doesn't define me. It's an extension of the work that I do. You don't need people you need to feel whole. You bring that wholeness into your platform and into the world, and you, my dear, will know peace. You will thrive. You will do so well. So I have another section to come, the last section. And I thank you all so much for being here so far. See you on the other side.
Living in this place that I call I, this world that I call mine. My world is so precious, it's so sacred. Anybody try to infiltrate gets erased and replaced with beautiful vibrations, healing and peace. You offer me sufferation, you offer me self-degradation. You want to replace my peace with confusion. Want me not to love myself. You thrive when I'm deluded. You offer me self-destruction. You give me poisons and the instructions. You give me false images to distort my vision. It's like a death on a mission to destroy my vibration. Surround me with foes, but my ancestors, they see, they know. Living in this place that I call I, this world that I call mine, I decline your offer. Living in this place that I call I, this world that I call mine, I decline your offer. 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 Everything that you come and offer to me, living in this place that I call I, this world that I call mine, I decline your offer. Living in this place that I call I, this world that I call mine, I decline your offer. Your offer. She wondered if you have a route to take her to the truth. Won't you show me the way? Oh, show me the way. Where I am, I'm falling and I need a hand to show me the way. Oh, show me the way. Will you help me? Will you help me? The way she feels right now, she's so lost and she don't know which way to go. She wondered if there is a chance that you could help her out, pull her from this well of emotion. Yeah, show me the way. Oh, she said, show me the way. Where I am, I'm falling and I need a hand to show me the way. Oh, show me the way. Will you help me? Will you help me? Will you help me? Will you help me?
Blessings, everyone. Can you hear me? Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Ring light. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for those of you who have stayed with me. It's been such a pleasure. Yeah, I'll take it off. It's reflecting too much. It's been such a pleasure to go through this rites of passage with you. It's my new rites of passage, 7th of the 7th. And I created a few videos before, my documentaries, so that if certain questions came up, I would say, oh, just go and check out that video. And it turns out that this is going to be one of those same videos where from now on, whenever the foolishness starts with the when it starts with the crabs in the barrel, okay, I just say, oh, I've already done a video on that. Just go and check it out. I don't like repeating myself. That's the reason why I played the videos I played. I cannot bring myself to repeat things that I've already recorded, you know? So thank you so much. So I introduce you to my crab in a barrel squad. In my barrel, I have many crabs. They are not STIs, okay? They are people with crab-like mentalities. I wish they would just heal and let me be. Amenti, Aisha, Malika, Bayush, Afua, Seeker the Crafter, Sarjo, Michelle Lewis, Eruna, and the many who I'm glad I don't even need to mention, because there are many of you. It's a part of our culture. It's a part of humanity. When we don't take the time to develop the beings that we are, we degenerate. We become problematic, not just for ourselves, we become problems for other people. So what this really means in ancient yoga, it is a posture, you know, you see Wakanda. This is a posture of Asar. I mentioned him before. Ancient Kemetic Egyptian, ancient African deity. This means a few things. One of them I'd like to highlight is I take responsibility for my energy, for my behavior, for my conduct. None of us are perfect. Running a business, I have made many errors. I think that my biggest errors, I was mentioning to someone yesterday, are when the Grenfell fire happened and I overgave in that area and it mashed up my retreat and it affected me, clients to this day. There's a few decisions that I've made business-wise. It is what it is. That's what happens. We're not human in all areas of our life. But these situations, the people that are even being highlighted aren't major business people. And so with that, we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to finish this presentation, lay it all out on the rug, and just take it from there. Bayush is my third troll. She's a young girl who I didn't speak with for a couple of years. Her grandmother passed away. We were both living in England. And then she just went quiet and I didn't know why. I carried on with my life. She was a youth to me that I was nurturing. And I migrated to Jamaica. While I was in Jamaica, a lot of people who had disappeared or who I had categorically stopped talking to reached out to me. They wanted to repair the friendships. I look back, I think it was because I was in Jamaica and they just wanted to be in the mix. She reached out to me. She explained that she had been watching my pages the whole time that she'd taken her space to check if I was okay. Again, I didn't like that because my page isn't going to let you know if I'm okay or not. All right. So if you want to know if I'm okay, holler at me through the number you have and ask me or DM me if you don't have a number. But the pages, they're pages. They're not people. Anyway, we continued speaking. I came to learn, as said in Temple Time, she was about to have a divorce. In fact, she wasn't going to have a divorce. What happened was she had planned to live with the guy in toxicity. I could hear them arguing all the time. And I said to her, you can't live like that. I don't know who told you can live like that. But when you and someone break up, if you cannot be peaceful, you cannot live together and raise children. That's when you have to move out, find your independence and co-parent. However, if you can be peaceful and keep normality and stability, whatever's good for you is good. So she made the decision after some time to move on. She also started to rediscover some of her passions. One, that was tarot. She joined my tarot class, okay, because I taught tarot as well as providing the readings. She joined the yoga class. She didn't really do the yoga much. I understand the things that she'd gone through had affected her appearance and her self-confidence wasn't great, okay, but she did try. She also even took my referral that I gave her to go and get some traditional healing and guidance to assist her in her move out of this toxic marriage, out of this toxic home situation. And this is how we came to part. She had a session, it wasn't even with me, I was there, with our Yumfa Ellie Breebon from, he lives in Manchester. And she was given some guidances, which she took on board. Two things stood out to me that I would now be very transparent about because the situation calls for it. She was told that she should not be an ingrate. INGRATE. And I was taken aback because I thought, wow, you rarely hear that. Just sounds like old English, you know. You might hear someone say, don't be ungrateful, but you rarely hear someone say, don't be an ingrate. And I was thinking, ooh, she doesn't come across to me like an ingrate, but maybe it's showing up in another part of her life. She was also told, do not get involved in any form of toxic competition. And because she was always fighting with her husband, I assumed that it was about that. The very next day, I would find out that the advice that Bayush had received not to be an ingrate and not to be involved in any toxic competition was about me. Because the very next day, we had a conversation where I explained, listen to this, listen to how crazy. These stories are crazy. You cannot make them up. She had a prayer from the Ifa system. It's a prayer that people say in the morning in Yoruba culture. It's a well-known prayer. Homage to the mothers, homage to the fathers, homage to the teachers, homage to their assistants. Olodumare, homage to you. the owner of today, homage to you. The mysterious mothers, homage to you. Okay? This is the prayer. She asked me, what does it mean? So we go through the prayer and I start explaining, this is the mothers, this is the fathers, this is the teacher, this is the assistant, this is who these people would be in real life to you. And I explained, I'm the teacher and I'm the assistant because I'm teaching her directly, but when she's working with Arrow, I'm assisting him and I'm assisting her. She decides, that's crazy, how can I be the assistant? Remember, me and this girl's not the same age, you know. She's a good, I don't know. At the time, I'd say she's like 10 years younger than me. I don't know the exact amount, but she's younger than me. When I met her, she was a teenager and I had a child that was about 9 years old. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we're not the same. We might be same generation, but we're not in the same age group like that. So I was like, what do you mean I'm not the teacher? I've been teaching you all this stuff. You come to me to learn this tarayasa, this yoga here, so now you're coming to me learn Ifa. I'm the person breaking down the prayers to you. I'm the person, what do you mean I'm not the assistant? So it was on this premise that she lost her mind, got mad on the phone, hang up the phone, and start emailing me lots of abuse. Seriously, so Bayush starts emailing me all this abuse. She emailed me. I said, look, it's almost like I'm saying, go to the bush, just leave me be, just go. I thought that was the end of it. I woke up the next day, all these trolling, slanderous comments all over my YouTube, Goddess Art Temple at the time. I go on Instagram page, and she's slick. She sets up a page in her name, she sets up a page in my name, then my name, my business name, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, everything. February 2021 until now, July 2023, Bayush has been on a relentless campaign because of that conversation. Do you hear what I'm saying? Because of that conversation where I explained to her what the teacher and the assistant is after she's received guidance. Don't be an ingrate and don't get involved in toxic competition. And I realized this trolling that she's doing, that's the toxic competition, because somehow, somewhere along the road, Bayush thought that our friendships and our business were supposed to be parallel. So I'm just thinking, you're a young lady, you're a young sis, I'm an older sis, we're connecting on a spiritual womanhood, goddesshood, sisterhood. You're thinking, when I met her, she didn't have a business. She wasn't even working. She wasn't in college. She was literally doing nothing but being promiscuous. And that was the age that she was at to be doing that. So I don't understand why it's this thing of where she's competing her business against mine, and the way she's carrying it out now, she's on the campaign to destroy my business. Like, you can destroy people's business. What you're doing is evincing that you've lost your marbles. That's all you ladies are doing. And that's the toxic femininity. When you hide and you create spin to hide the iniquity and the ill deeds that you yourself have been doing, anyone will believe your lying stories. But when someone comes forward and says, nip it in the bud, 7th of the 7th, we're not going to do that anymore. So Bayush, she went off to be the troll. So I went on Afua's platform, remember I said last year, and Bayush reaches out to Afua. Afua reaches out to me and says, this lady has reached out to me. I swear, I feel like I'm going to bust up laughing because I swear, it's just, sorry. It's too funny. She says, this lady's reached out to me. She said, don't trust LENEA. She's got this page. It's in your name. I explained the whole story. I've got nothing to hide. Oh, that's Bayush. She's the temple troll. She's our troll. My whole audience are aware of her. Don't worry. It is what it is. You can talk to her if you want. And then Afua says, yeah, I've got a few pages like that myself. People have set up fake pages, which I wasn't aware of. Why would I? I didn't even know about her. Where everyone knew that there was this lady, I wasn't in the country, so I did not know about her. So I was like, okay, common ground. You know what it's like. I said, it's part of social media. It's a new thing. If you don't have a storefront, people are now going to try to turn to social media if you have a brand. If you don't have a brand, no one's really going to do that. But if you have a brand, if you're a musician, artist, business owner, that's what people do. The bigger you grow, I've seen so many people in the last 3 years have to come out and announce on their pages, this is not me, this is a fake account. And there's people going around creating fake accounts for one reason or the other. Okay? So we moved on. All the stuff happened that I mentioned earlier on. I went to the march. I met the Pussycat. The Pussycat is the artist. The artist asked me to make a song with him. He said the way how he works, we would do all the song in one day. And I remember thinking, that's not really my style. Like, I like to breathe into things, so we could figure out what rhythm we're using first, see what comes up, then meet and voice something, you know? Anyway, I didn't know him as any artist. I never seen this guy before unless he was that one time I saw him on Afua's platform. So I asked him for his Pussycat name. And I went and had a look for him online. And I found his music. And I thought, wow, this guy is actually very good. I felt that musically, grime, DJ, dub, dubstep, drum and bass, that sort of UK style with a Jamaican dancehall reggae twist. And I resonate with that, clearly. So I waited a few days and I said, okay, let me call him and have this conversation. Before I did that, I noticed that he had a lot of information online, including his birthday. And being the mystic that I am, and being that I was a little bit unnerved by him, but I wasn't sure why, I had a look at his natal chart. And when I had a look at his natal chart, which if you don't know, is a chart of what was happening in the sky on the day you were born, right? And it speaks to a lot of your personality. So when I looked in the natal chart, I could see before I even spoke to this person that he, unfortunately, was by the very least a narcissist, and by the most extreme, potentially a sociopath or a psychopath. I could see that. See, these are the things that I've been learning in the mystery schools that I've been exploring while I've been doing the work, okay? And I find it all very intriguing. And when I see that in someone's chart, I study them, and my friends and family know this. Yeah, so might be new to you, but even celebrities that have these placements, I'll study. Oh, is that how it showed up? Interesting. I love astrology. So I thought, does that affect me? Because I'm just going to do a track with him, so that shouldn't really affect me. Do you get what I'm saying? Plus he's short, so God, he might have short man syndrome, which I've experienced before with someone that I used to work with. But anyway, took some time. I called the Pussycat. And what I've decided is, because what I can share about this artist, the Pussycat, is probably an hour and a half. And when I considered whether I was going to do this live, I said to my sister, but how can I mention him in a live stream that's about toxic femininity? And she said, well, he's acting like a BIT female dog. Man is moving like a female dog. So if he wants to act like that, you can definitely speak about him in your toxic femininity series. But at the time, I didn't understand the steps that I'll explain that this person took. But I did know that their level of narcissism is unbearable, it's intolerable, which is the reason why within a few weeks of me initially speaking to this Pussycat, I rejected him out of my phone. Future, we're not making no tune together, don't call me back, because his character, his being is monstrous, and it was scary for me. And there were a few, from the very first time I spoke to him, I cried on the phone, and he was so conflicted and duplicitous. I don't want to go into all of that. It's something that I may in the future write a book about it, because I realize that he's very uneducated, as are his audience. and they would probably benefit more from being prompted to read a book, because the intelligence that relies on just doing live streams and the inability to articulate oneself in other higher modes of communication like writing is something that his community and him need. And the proof of that is this guy tried to fight me about the fact that the word fillet, you don't pronounce the T. So we're talking about food. He says he loves making fillet. I said, what is that? You know me. What is that? What's fillet? He goes, you know, like, don't you know fillet is because you're from Jamaica? This other man's trying, you know. Me, you know. I said, oh, you mean fillet? He said, no, it's not fillet. It's fillet. It has a T at the end. I said, yeah, but so does the word ballet. Ballet has a T at the end, and it's not called ballet. And the man tried to fight me off for that, and I let him have it because I realized smart people can't argue with people who don't have sense. And that is the beginning, middle, and end, my experience with him. But there's one signifying thing why I really pulled away from it too, that I will mention. I don't want to mention too much because I don't want to pacify the ego of this person. Because if you have a YouTube channel and you're supposed to be a celebrity and a big artist and a big man in the community and all them things, but your videos are all under like 600 views, and you have to call my name on your channel to hit over 1,000 views, I'm not supposed to address you because you're not on my level. You see it? If your normal videos are all like a couple hundred views, and then you call my name and you get 1,000 odd views, you go and thank me for helping you to monetize your channel. But we're not going to do this. And in saying that, I want to say to everyone who I am acknowledging on this video, this is not a response to anybody. Meaning, you lot have been sitting on my name for years. Every year is something else. I don't come out and respond. What this is my own declaration and nip in the bud, and a discussion of a very important sickness, illness, and corruption within our society that puts many people at risk every day. So no matter what is said on anybody's platform following this video, I am not responding because I don't even watch your content. If you make any video about me, you can bet your bottom dollar, ask anyone around me, I'm not watching it because it's witchcraft. And because I know that what you guys are doing with your low vibration and your low intentions for others is you're trying to harness the consciousness of others to actually put attacks on people, energy attacks, social attacks, spiritual attacks. I am not going to contaminate my heavens, my mind, by consuming the content of degenerates. I would not watch a video that I knew this person is just slating me. I'm just not going to watch it. I am not a child and I'm not that curious. You get what I'm saying? Like, I can control myself. So I haven't watched anyone's content. I'm just aware that it has existed, and some people had to get their content taken down because they call up too much people's name and said too much damaging things that they cannot event. If I ever take this video down, it will always be on my website. I have my own platform for that exact reason. Okay? So, Bayush, you see where it was with Bayush? We drop off Afua, Pussycat. Pussycat is possessed, obsessed by someone called Keith Bennett. By someone, Kevin. Pussycat is obsessed and under the psychic control by the way he talks. He's totally consumed. He's out of his mind. And all he wants to do is to solicit the homicide of Keith Bennett. And when this came out of his mouth, in addition to, from the day I spoke to Pussycat, he had nothing good to say about the His Time Is Up movement. He had nothing good to say about Afua Rose. And this was shocking to me. That's why I don't like mixing with groups of people. Afua has a march to march and protest against the assault of women. She does not have enough security. She calls on some of the men who in public, in public, they say they support her cause. Pussycat is one of these men. He comes, puts on a big peacock ego-puffing performance at the march. Because at the march, Afua's troll, her online troll, who became my online troll after I went on her platforms. Now, we're even going to that, it's unnecessary. He gets arrested. So while I'm singing on stage, I should have brought the footage up, but I don't want their thing on my thing. While I'm singing, Dirty Man, you dirty man, you dirty man, leave the people picnic them alone. The man is getting arrested on the grass in front of me. Killa P puts on so many ego... Pussycat puts on so many ego-puffing performances for the camera. But the minute I speak to him later on in the week, he is slating Afua. He is slating the movement. He's talking about Afua never had enough security for her daughter. And he told me things I wasn't even praying that. I just came to sing and leave, and that's what I did. And even when I was leaving, Afua was so happy, so thankful. She had the audacity to reach into the collection bucket. Me, a professional singer, reach into the collection bucket, grab, I don't know what the size of the note was, and try and put it in my hand. And I said, no, Afua, I am not... First of all, I am not charging you for this. I wasn't even going to come to this march. So I'm thinking, I just came here. This is definitely volunteer work. Secondly, anything you have in that bucket can't pay me for my performance. So here you go. I said, put it back, put it towards the charity. I had already been invited to her birthday dinner. I had politely declined. How can I go to dinner with you? I've never met you before. It's your birthday. I'm there with all your best friends. I don't know you lot, especially with this toxic feminine culture. So I just said to her, thanks for the birthday invite. I'll send some money to your Cash App. And that's what I did. Or I joined her membership. I sent some money and joined the membership. That was the birthday to say, no, I don't. And I even offered her, I'll give you a tarot reading if you want, but I can't do that. I probably just said I was busy, but that's what was going on. Okay. So she offered me the money. I said no. Pussycat came to me, asked me for some milk, musical milk. We exchange numbers. I leave. I speak to Pussycat. He's got nothing to say. I can tell by everything he's saying. He has been chatting Afua with everyone in the South London community. Not only that, he's very close as a child growing up, not only to Afua's daughter's father, who she slated, but also to the man that was arrested, the troll. So his loyalties are splintered. They're all over the place. And I realized this guy's an agent. And some time passes and Afua's page gets taken down a few times. And I stopped talking to him because the last thing he said to me on the phone was about wanting to assassinate that same man, Mr. Bennett. And I just said, yeah, we're done. Come off my phone. Like, you see, if you're not calling me on a healing tip and you want healing, and I'm telling you want healing, and all you can say is, I just want blood. Nah, blood, you need to go. And that was the day that I realized, now think of the fairy tale. The Three Little Pigs, you got the wolf. Yes, a wolf, right? Is it the gingerbread man? You have the wolf. I don't know about a gingerbread man, actually. I think that's a fox. So the Three Little Pigs, you have the wolf, and Little Red Riding Hood is the same wolf, right? And if you know those old fairy tales, there are actually many stories with that wolf, but those are the more popular ones. So what is it about the wolf? He's always dressed as someone else. So he's dressed as the granny. You know what I'm saying? And then when Little Red Riding Hood comes, he's really... Think of that picture. I should have uploaded it to this. Same with the pigs. He'd be knocking, little pig, let me in. But who was it? It wasn't no me. It was the wolf. That's who Pussycat is. If you look in his face, you'll see it. So I cut that off nicely, not interested, felt traumatized, felt contaminated, the whole, everything. Yup. Told my family. That's how I'm glad I posted my family, sister. Yeah, that was crazy. I don't know what's going on in the world today, but I'm not interested. And a couple months passed, and Afua reached out to me. And I said to her, you know what? On a sister tip, just from a integral space, it's not everything I hear on the road I'm gonna come and tell you. I'm just gonna let you know that. But there's this one thing that just because of how I know you and why I know you, why we are connected, I need to tell you that that pussycat is an agent. He's against what you're doing. He's not genuine about it, and you need to be careful. That was that. I told her he's a narcissist. I told her I can see it in his chart and I can hear it in his voice. His behavior is even going into his past narcissism. Narcissism is delicate. That man is on something else, right? The pussycat. So she was like, okay. And then a couple months passed again. I haven't been watching the content for about 6 months now, you know. And that's when my friend says, how come she's there defending pussycat? And I thought, that's weird. And then we spoke. I don't know if she called me or I called her. I can't remember, but we spoke. And I said to her, like, what's going on with that? And she goes, oh, well, I know you said that. But I spoke to him and I think you two all need to get together and have a conversation. I'm like, are you crazy? Did you think that when I told you that that person is an agent, that person is against the cause, did you think as a survivor myself who came and put my documentary about this serial sexual assaulter from my area, you think I'm here to negotiate and debate with someone that I know is against the cause? After they've done exposed, you think I'm here to battle? I'm not here to have no opinion. It's either you take it or you don't take it in it. But I am not going to be having no conversation with the three of you, because in my mind, her character has shown me time and time again, fragmented, unwilling to heal, bitter, resentful, and as a default, corrupted. And maybe you were always corrupt. I don't know you from nowhere. That's just my diagnosis. So I realized, oh, both of their characters are off. So me and her had a fallout on the phone. And that was the end of it. Never thought about it again. Humans don't have to always get on. We weren't friends. We met for a specific reason and a purpose. The purpose had fulfilled itself. I felt that we both supported each other in different ways. We don't owe each other anything. We're not obligated. And she did another thing that I didn't like, which speaks to her character. So one day when she asked, because she kept on calling me and saying, will you come on the live? And I didn't understand why. Initially I was doing it, but then I just had to honor myself and not do it. But one day I was on, there was a lady she's a young lady in her 20s. She's exposing the UCKG church. Her mission is to expose the corruption and abuse, specifically psychological and physical by the sounds of it, that's taking place in the UCKG church in the UK, of which she used to be a member. So she came onto the live once, and I think we were on the same live. Then when I went to the march, I didn't know that this march that was supposed to be about defending women was going to change courses halfway through the march, and they went and shut down the UCKG church because that lady was there. So a couple months passed, and Afua, in the same conversation, said she gave that lady like the freedom to go and shut down the UCKG. That wasn't planned. But she noticed that now the girl, when she's calling the girl's not answering her back. When she's asking the girl to come to these many marches and police stand-ups that she's asking people to come to, the girl's not responding. So I said to her, but Afua, that's a young girl, you know? Like that girl is a young girl. I don't even know if she's a mom yet. She's on her big campaign. That's her life purpose. She's come on your platform. She's come to your march, yeah? She's probably like so engulfed in what's going on for her and what she's doing. She doesn't feel obligated. So don't, like, basically Afua was bad speaking the woman. And you see, after that conversation, I said, I'm not dealing with Afua again. Because if you, as a mother of a 12-year-old, grandmother of young children, don't have the emotional intelligence to look at a young woman who's not responding to you for whatever reason and just say, hey, it is what it is. Why do you feel that anyone that comes onto your platform, they now have to run behind you and keep pushing your cause? Don't you have your fundamental core people or is it a manipulation? You can come onto my platform, but there's an unsigned energetic contract that you're entering into. That means once you come onto my platform and say, Kem, you now owe me, and I, Afua, now owe your soul, and you're obligated. Do you know how well that is? That is lacking emotional intelligence. It's lacking mental equilibrium, logic, and rationality. It's lacking common sense. It's lacking spiritual intelligence. And this is a community leader. Wolves in sheep's clothing. So imagine anyone can fall out. I said, I'm not having a conversation with this guy. I don't know what you're on. She started running up her mouth. I said, I know you're born on the same day as my mother, but guess what? You're not my mom. I've already left my family home because of the same toxic femininity that you embody. And you think that how many years later, you're going to come back to teaching the same spiritual lesson because you're born on the same day as my mother. What Afua doesn't know is that the pussycat is born the day before my father. And they are opposites. July 4th, January 5th. Opposites. Cancer, Capricorn in the Western zodiac, Gemini, Sagittarius in the Vedic ancient zodiacs, Egyptian zodiacs. These two beings that have orchestrated this low-level vibrational attempt to assassinate, but all they do is evince their own corruption, are on the opposite sides of the astrological axis. How about that? And are also embodying the birth dates of my mother and my father, energies that I've already mastered and know how to master and will do time and time again in this life, because clearly my destiny calleth for that. And if I saw it go, me will take the car. You understand? Like you asked me to come perform. I said, okay, I'll take the call. Same way destiny calls for me to speak out about these things and to conquer these clearly karmic past life energies. I rise to the occasion. I take the call. That situation should have been done. I stopped talking to pussycats in private. I stopped talking to Afua in private. I did my I Love My Room podcast about 4 months later. I saw Pussycat turn up on the live, and because he was so violent, abrasive, duplicitous, ignorant, calculating, manipulative, narcissistic, and evil to me in the exchanges that we had before in a child, I didn't even filter it. I didn't even control it. I just said the truth. What are you doing? Because I was speaking. Imagine he came on the live and I was saying, I know that women, many women, are afraid to go to events that focus on womanhood and women. And the reason why they're afraid is because of the abrasive and traumatic experiences that they have had with other women, not with other men. So I just want to check something, but with other women. So I was just speaking about that, and in comes the pussycat. And when I saw him on the live, I was in shock because I was thinking, surely I've blocked you, but if I haven't blocked you, why are you here? We're not talking, you narcissist. You get what I'm saying? So I just looked and I said, like, what are you doing here? Like you, pussycat, you're an agent. You're part of the reason why people are afraid to go to marches, because the same people that are being called in to protect the women don't even believe the women's stories, don't support the movement, don't believe it. They're just on a fake out looking for some clout because everyone is trying to be seen on some random YouTube video. Like some dead career person. That's what you're out there doing, looking for clout. Okay? Okay. So I didn't say all of that, just so you know. I just said, pussycat, you're an agent. You should come off my live. I don't know what you're doing here. I'm not going to speak about it. I'll deal with it later. That's all I said. I did not mention Afua. And when I did mention Afua during that live, it was just part of the context of the work, the healing. I never said a negative thing publicly or to anyone outside of my immediate home circle and family and friendship. One other person in my friend circle, and no one knew I saw my tan. Me no mix up, me no live no reality show. If me and somebody follow, yes sir, What the internet have to do with that? You know life people with no boundaries. No boundaries. Do you understand what I'm saying? Never said anything. Carried on. Went and did I Love My Room. Divine, beautiful time. Never. Oh, he did say, the pussycat, okay, wait until Sunday. I'm going to go live on my podcast and I'm going to talk about you. And as a true sage, and someone with gut malt, because all my thing is gut malt. When you watch my videos, I'm just making predictions the whole way through. Even the I Love My Room was a prediction for what was about to come. I spoke about treacherous femininity, and then Afua came and manifested what I said. Goat mouth is something we say in Jamaica when people speak what's about to happen without knowing necessarily that's what they're doing. Okay? He said, right, I'm going to make a live about you. I say, do it. And remember that you need to call my name because the video will do good because of who I am. And I bring value to anything I'm a part of. So do what you're doing in it. Deuces. I don't watch his content. I don't care. No one in my circle watches his content. No one cares. We had no idea that Pussycat had gone ahead and done the video on the Sunday because no one cared. He realized that no one cared. He made the video for Clout. He wanted all the reaction. He didn't get no reaction. Who did he go and run to? Who did he go? And again, he was used to show how weak, how corruptible, and how lacking integrity Afua is. He ran to Afua. I don't know how it happened behind the scenes, but he made a video. No one cared. No one saw it. I didn't even know about it. A couple weeks pass. Someone reaches out to me and says, what's going on with you and Afua? Mad people. And I say, what do you mean? Like, I haven't spoken to Afua for about 4 months. Like, at this point, it was a long time. I said, nothing's going on with me and Afua. What's this then? Send me a screenshot. Jesus, peace have his mercy. Afua, this suck-out looking woman who's taken a break apparently, and she should, because if you don't practice healing and regeneration and you're always on the battlefield, you don't meditate, you don't connect with your inner self, you do nothing to replenish your being, to clarify your soul and your mind, you will start getting mash up. And mash up is reaching her. And everyone can see it. And I know I don't look mash up. So I didn't understand how she had the audacity and the blindness with her visual status. It's probably because she wears glasses. To put some very insulting comments about me, calling me, like, literally, I don't want to say what it is, but she did compare, she used a word in Jamaica called marga, which means skinny. And it is superficial. But you see, in my family, the ladies, we have slim arms. So no matter what size we have to be really big for our arms to look big. You know that kind of way? When I tell you, there's no part of my body that's slim or skinny. I was so shocked that she was calling me skinny. My breasts are going down the road. My belly is going down the other side of the road. And my bottom is going way down the field to the park. My thighs are, I'm like, what's going on? So I realized this woman's mad. Again, it's more madness. She starts to assassinate my parents. She starts my parents, though, to show how shallow she is. She has no substance. She says she's going to do a live stream about me. I'm like, here we go. The live stream happens. I don't watch it. To be honest, I don't think we share a lot of the same audience because only 2 people reached out to me and my friend. So 2 people, imagine how big my audience is, you know. 2 people reached out to me. One, I've never met them in my life, is someone who just likes my post. They've never supported a product. They never come to a performance. The other, I have met them. They told me that they've been following me for years before the time that I got acquainted with them. They've never supported me in my life. They've never come to a show. So I realized the 2 people that reached out to me are not actually part of my community. They're people that I appreciate because they like now and then, but they will never show up in real life. They're not coming to an event. They're not downloading your music. They're not even going to leave a comment on your video. They just watch, and now and then they might begrudgingly leave a like. So I thought, this is strange. I'm not watching it. My friend came and gave me some feedback. I realized that Afua has lost her head because Afua has teamed up with Bayush. Bayush is on Afua's page using an Instagram handle, Tasha76, Tasha some numbers 76. Bayush is slating me in the comments. Afua has gone on her video and shared all this stuff that comes from Bayush, knowing that Bayush is a troll. She isn't, Bayush hasn't tricked Afua. Bayush might think that she's tricked Afua, but I told Afua in a very lengthy, detailed conversation since last year. I even told Afua, which makes me think Afua's wicked, because Afua knows that I've reported Bayush to the police and they're fully aware of what she's doing. But yeah, because Afua wants to join this weird campaign with the agent who's against her campaign, yeah, she's run to bring this information that she knows is false and open the doors for all the vultures, all the zombies, like the Aisha, who the police had to shut her down. She made Aisha come talk, apparently. I don't know if she spoke or if she read something. I don't know what it was because I never watched it. But apparently, Aisha, my first troll, Bayush Afua full well. You see how sick she is? Sick, wicked, and corrupt, and I can't chat to me. Anyway, on a semi-pan road, just cross the road. Them the caliber of woman, white, black, blue, or purple. You low vibration feminines. You should have come to yoga class. You should have come to I Love My Room, but you couldn't have come. You would have contaminated my students because your spirits, yeah, your spirits, yeah, are degenerated. A big 53-year-old grandmother runs with the spin, knowing that she's spreading lies to the masses. Why? Because she knows that I've called Pussycat an agent, and now she's afraid. If she's gone as far to call him an agent, and she says she's going to explain why, in me explaining how Pussycat is an agent, Afua is fearing that I'm going to reveal her. But I am not corrupt. I don't need to tell people one person's story to tell another person's story. You understand? I never had any intention of ever speaking about Afua in this life or the next. But one thing I will say is that I do believe in past lives only because of the things I've dreamt, not because of anything I've read. I have dreamt myself in many different past lives, enough to know that I've been here before. And as I cognitize that information with what I've read and my life experiences, I take responsibility like this, as I said before, to nip in the bud, not just situations from this decade. This isn't about this life. No day is promised. None of us know how long we're going to be here. And I find that these are spiritual fights that people are taken up as part of their missions in life because they've lost their way. And what that means is, if we don't deal with these issues in this life, in accordance to my experience, we're going to be dealing with it in the next life. And I'm not interested in dealing with any of this stuff in the next life. This is the longest live I've ever done on my page. I have an audience of 8,000 new people. They don't even know this, LENEA. But you know what? I'm very thankful I was able to do this, because when I'm sharing my songs, you guys don't know who I am. And it's just a random song. Maybe I Decline will mean something now. You're like, that's who she is. That's the amount of trolls she's had. She's had to keep going no matter what. She was doing these different things because she's gifted and she was a lone parent. She had to, it's a context. I am not ashamed of my journey, my life force. I give thanks that I'm here. But because I know no day is promised, and because I have a descendant, I have someone who walks this planet that comes from me. The reason why I said what the ladies are doing and the Pussycat is witchcraft in ancient African spirituality, when people sit down with the intention to defame, slander, and lie and gossip about people, it is seen as a form of witchcraft. When it comes to violence, let's go back to crab in a barrel, bad mind. The violence in Jamaica is usually associated with men. That doesn't mean women aren't violent. Women set up their friends to be assaulted all the time. Women set up other women friends to be assaulted by males all over this planet. But me no say that happened in Jamaica a lot. So violence isn't just physical. And one violence that a woman has is her mouth. So we do not compare or see as parallel the masculine, aggressive, overt violence. We don't put that as parallel with the feminine, verbal, energetic violence. But I would put it to you, in this world of the battle between good and evil, they are just as detrimental and poisonous. So what these crabs in my barrel are doing is violent. You're being violent towards me and mine. So I have a responsibility. Do you get what I'm saying? Not for you guys, but for my descendants. So that when I leave this planet, may they have the opportunity to look back and see, what did mum experience? How did she cognize and process that? What were the lessons that she learned? And how can I implement that into my life to move with more safety and to navigate with more safety on this planet? Because the rules of this planet aren't changing. That's all right, they're not changing. They're not changing. We're born and see corruption. We're going to pass and see it. We're born to see on all these assaults, all these injustices is part of the realm of this planet. It's been like that from the beginning of time. We have evolutions, but as much as technology is evolving, you can use a platform to go live, but you need to do the work to develop your spiritual technology. And you do that through discipline. You would have had to have gone through a path of discipline, even if it's for a year, bro. Get some discipline, then you can start to harness your anatomy, mental, spiritual, emotional. Then you can move in alignment with something that's of benefit to the planet. Then you're worth. Your name's worth calling, to be honest. But this contortion of self and then purging and projecting said contortion and dysfunction on others, not everyone's going to take it, and I am not. So please, don't call me sis. Don't call me sis. I've written a song about it. I just haven't recorded it yet, and it's the next song. I'm not going to sing it. I don't know if I have the voice. It goes, please don't call me sis if you're going to turn around and diss me, if you're going to stab me in my back, if you're full of jealousy and envy, I beg you, please miss me with that. You're too damn grown and I'm too damn grown. I've been on this planet many times before. So if you're going to turn around and diss me, I beg you, please don't call me sis. Okay, let's wrap this up. I think I've come to the end, almost done. So after this mental disgrace that was exhibited within our community, just to show how far we haven't come and why I don't identify with so many labels and tags anymore. That's why I don't identify with you guys and all your woke stuff. I'm just not part of it. I'm human. I'm here for clean-hearted people. I don't want to align with people based on one specific thing that we have in common. I need us to have more in resonance. Your vibration needs to be high, basically. Your hands need to be clean. And it doesn't mean, you haven't done anything and no, it's just that right now in this time, you need to be better. Do you get what I'm saying? Cool. So Afua runs with the fake troll that she knows is a fake troll, Bayush, and bases her whole thing on Aisha, who's already been exposed as my first troll, and all the little critters who I don't know who they are, I didn't watch it. But one thing I will say is I was sent because I reported it to the police, because I reported everyone, because I'm not playing with you guys. Yeah. because you're doing spiritual attack and I'm a professional person. I'm like, wow, is this legal? Is this harassment? Is this slander? The least thing I want to do is log it, because we don't know what's going to happen next year, and every year is something, right? When I look on the page of Tasha 76 or whatever her name is, she is leading the debate. But there's also the other page that's her in my name, and on some page, the truth about LENEA, I think, as well. I'm not sure why I haven't been checking them recently. So it gives the audience the impression that these are separate people. Do you get what I'm saying? But Bayush is Ken's Designs. That's who she really is. Do you understand? I even know her mother. Her mother has attended I Love My Womb twice. Her mother is as underdeveloped as she. She's older than me. Do you get what I'm saying? But she's young. She's lovely, but she's young. And that's the reason why Bayush is also so young, because my daughter, who's literally just at the end of her teens, has no children, nothing like that, is much more mature than Bayush, Aisha, Amenti, Afua, and Bayush's mother. My daughter, you know. So I'm not saying this just, I'm being real. Y'all need to grow. You can't force it, but just work on yourself. Anyway, so I see these posts, I get the screenshots, I send them to the police. I see that there's some people that are running up their mouth again on the post that I have to address.
Empress, Candace, Kentucky, the great wives. You don't know. They used to say to my mama,
Where do you get these ideas from? Who gave you the right to question?
been touched and blessed by our feet. Yes, it's all me, the original woman. Oh, yeah. Jordan, check it. I don't think that you heard the reason I have to write this rhythm. The bassline drop sounds so juicy and my mouth a water. Y'all figure some play. I love the way my waist starts whining, hips starts grinding. It's my Jamaican and it's my dance hall style. It's so natural, you know it's got me going. It feels so sweet, don't you love it? I can ride this rhythm. I'm gonna ride it for you the way I want to. I can ride this rhythm. Because I feel like there's something about the fusion of the rhythm and melody got me dizzy, dizzy. It's time to break out, it's time to shake out. Gotta stop and represent this rhythm that's inside of me. Cause when I dance, like when I sing, I feel this energy. Positively, it's growing in me, manipulating this rhythm, doing my own thing. It feels so sweet, don't you love it? I can ride this rhythm. I'm gonna ride it for you the way I want to. I can ride this rhythm because I feel like vibing. Them never know so they got this. Could I wear a short dress when I read him after ride my ball? Yes, yes, yes. Y'all get upset, man try text set, but I'm blessed 100%. Man I go shy if I read him want for ride. Me nah hide, nah decline. Roll up in the dance, cause me know me own a mind. Yes, me love to broke out and me do it in style. Them ball more, more. Can I get a real hardcore? More. Can I ride this rhythm? Then my ball more, more. Rhythm. I can ride this rhythm. I'm gonna ride it for you the way I want to. I can ride this rhythm because I feel like vibing.